ladies and gentlemen, good morning students, you are welcome to Better Things e-learning platform. My name is Marcelo Yamada, and today we are going to be dealing with the physics, especially for those of us that are preparing for examination. And our topic today, or what we are going to be doing revision especially on, is going to be past questions on photoelectric emission. Now, from what we can find here, you can discover that most of the times when WAEC tend to bring questions, especially for the part B aspect of it, you tend to encounter most of this, of which during the preparation of examination we might not take them lightly because of there might be no time. But looking at this, using this opportunity, I want each and every one of us to look at this, and looking at the word, one way or the other, we should be able to have an idea of what they are talking about. So from what we have here, we are asked, explain what we mean by photoelectric emission. Now, for those of us that are very good in vocals, when it comes about explaining some vocabulary with the way it relates to the word, you understand very much well that right from when you be doing sciences, that the word photo is talking about light, and the electric is talking about what? Electrons. They're talking about emission, or you can use another synonym or a synonym word for emission, to like using the word reject or to eject. Now, with this alone, you should be able to put out some words, but there are some appropriate definition from what we have here. Now, for Roman figure 2, we are told to state 4 applications of photoelectric emission. Then the B part act, we are told to draw and label a diagram showing the structure of a simple type of a photocell and explain its mode of operation. Then the next one says, in a photocell, no electrons are emitted until the threshold frequency of light is what is reached. Then for the C part of it, we are now asked to explain what happens to the energy of the light before emission of electrons begins. Then finally, in figure 2, we have state one factor that may affect the number of emitted electrons. Now, quickly, we have to quickly put this on the board, because most of the time during the process of definition, one way or the other, we might miss out some terms, but we just have to put it down so that we should be able to know the most important aspect of this definition so that we might not make mistakes. Now, on our own, or somebody that may not have idea on the proper definition, maybe they may not have the opportunity to study it in their textbook, they will be able to put it that this is light, electrons, and what? Emission. Now, from the definition we have on the board, it said photoelectric emission is the ejection. Now, looking at that ejection, it already satisfies this word emission. The ejection of electrons, from which we are seeing here, which is electric, from the surface of the metal when electromagnetic radiation. And electromagnetic radiation, for what most of us know, is talking about what? The light, which is represent what? Photo. And you know that every particles of light is referred to as what? As photons. Now, electromagnetic radiation, light of appropriate frequency. Please be very careful. While defining this, this word, appropriate frequency, is needed in this kind of definition. Or wavelength is incident on the metal. Now, looking at this perfect definition, it is very clear to us that during the process of definition, we should be very careful to make sure that the points that are needed are not left behind. Now, this is the definition for what? For photoelectric emission. Now, the next question says, state 4 applications of photoelectric emission. Now, many of us must have known what they call burglary alarm. Talking about now the burglar alarm, the alarm peradventure, there is an intruder in a particular environment that they might not be expecting. Now, because of the visibility of the light that have detected an unwanted image, now with what we have here, the burglary alarm may have to give its own sensitive word effect, and which we have done these ones when we are dealing with the linear expansivity and its application. Then we have the photometers, which many of us have had the idea most of the times during the process of discussion. We've been able to detect some photometers that has to do with the nature and the intensity of light whenever they are detected. Then we talk about the automatic doors, the television camera, the sound production from the film track. Now, having said that, then we have the next question. Now, looking at it, it said, draw and diagram showing the structure of a simple type of a photocell and explain its mode of operation. Now, one way or the other, many of us might have encountered what we mean by photocell in our houses or on the streets, but we may not be able to recognize and know the effect. Now, for those of us that actually followed us while we were in SS1, while we were talking about all those, while we were talking about the means at which electricity are generated, we will be able to remember that one way or the other, light can be generated by what? By the emission of what? Of photons. Now, that's where we come into what? Solar power generation. Now, one way or the other, we have been opportune to experience this form of generation of light. Talking about this form. Now, this is actually the diagram for the generation of light through the help of what? The radiation that comes from the sun. Now, if you look at what we have here, this is the ultraviolet ray. Now, for an ordinary student, they might call it light, just ordinary sunlight. But from here, we are having what? The ultraviolet ray. We're having the cathode, which is acting as positive. We're having the anode as negative. Then we are now having the cell that is present here. Now the question is this: we want to explain how this thing works. It's not different from the solar power generation that most of us have actually seen, where the solar panels that we know are being mounted. Now looking at this, if you are able to have this explanation, then everything that has to do with solar power generation can be explained and you'll be able to know it better. Now we explain this what we have here. Now we are told that when a particular radiation of an appropriate frequency, now please take note, when a particular radiation of an appropriate frequency that is regarded as the ultraviolet ray strikes the cathode. Now take note of an appropriate frequency strike the cathode, and the cathode acting as a positive is trying to tell us that now if it's striking it should be striking a photosensitive device. Now, one thing is for a radiation of appropriate frequency to be directed as incident to strike a photosensitive device. Now, during the process at which this ray has struck this device, they were not told that electrons are emitted from here and they are passed through to the anode. So, during this process, we are told that the electrons tend to move around. Then, at this point, as far as the ultraviolet ray has struck these photosensitive devices, electrons have been moved and electricity is generated. Now the question now is this: try to make this thing interesting for us, or for those of us that may have seen it like something very difficult. Now let us use that of the solar power generation, for example, for which we have explained, for those of us that need to know. Now if you look at what we have here, this side of it is talking about a photosensitive device. Now, during the sun ray, now we should be able to represent this, if we are to explain this practically, we should be able to explain that this thing you are seeing here can be acting as the solar panel that most of us see that are being mounted on the roof. During the process, sunlight comes, or the ultraviolet ray comes and strikes the photosensitive surfaces. And on that same solar panel that you see that are being mounted, we are now told that electrons are emitted. And when the electrons are emitted, looking at those panels carefully, you discover that there are some kind of demarcation. Now, electrons are emitted and electrons tend to flow. So, looking at this should not be like a magic that many of us may not be able to get. So, if you look at this cycle you are seeing here, what you are finding or what you are seeing here, this is regarded as a photosensitive device at which the ultraviolet ray will strike. Now, during that process, you cannot see something here that is acting as an E. So, we can use the word that one of us knows that in most solar generated area, there are always some batteries that are being attacked. Now, the purpose of this is to go around, stays inside the battery, and the electrons are emitted for use whenever they are regarded. Now, take note, using this word, we are talking about the appropriate frequency, talking about the normal radiation. So we should not expect that it's not just ordinary light, because we are being told that one light falls on the surface. Now take note, it should be a radiation with appropriate frequency, not just frequency. Otherwise, if an ordinary light tends to fall that has no frequency, then there is every possibility that the rate of flow of electrons may be slow, or there might be no flow of electrons. Now, practically, expected to get this in practically. For those of us that have seen places where solar generation of electric power are experienced in most houses, looking at it very well, starting from here, you are going to see your panels practically, and they are being transferred. They are connection wires. Then when you get inside, you get the battery and some other processing and techniques where they can be transferred. Now we have the other part of it where we said, now we've explained the load. Now it said in a photon cell, no electrons are emitted until the threshold frequency of light is reached. Now, from the explanation of what we have here, we are told here that in a photon cell, no electrons are emitted until a threshold frequency of light is reached. Now, from the explanation of this, we are told, Roman figure 1, explain what happens to the energy of the light before emission of electrons begins. Now, take note. Trying to explain that if a light tends to fall on a particular device, it has already told you that the reason why electrons is not flowing from there is because the appropriate frequency has not yet been reached. But that one does not mean that it will not have an effect on what we are having here. Definitely, the light that may not have the frequency may fall on this place. But during that process, we are being told that this place, although the frequency is not enough to eject electrons, it will start conserving those electrons. Now, when it gets to a stage, gets a potential, now that frequency that we conserve will now have a force to drive outward the electrons. So, if it's not enough, definitely electron will not flow. So, from the answer we are having from that question, we are told that what happens to the energy. Now, during the process, energy is displaced. Now, the rate at which the flow of this radiation is coming, the frequency is gathered. The electrons, the rays are absorbed until they get a frequency that will drive outward the electron. So, for Roman figure 1, it has been stated. Then Roman figure 2, under that same question, we are asked, state one factor that may affect the number of emitted electrons. Now, take note. If we have less amount of radiation, talking about less amount of sunlight, like most of us who use solar panels at home, you discover that maybe throughout the day, the temperature we have the rainfall all through, and definitely there will be no sunlight that will fall on such panels. There will be no sunlight that will fall on this. It is expected that the electricity that you may generate at night will not be up to the expected one. Why? Because the light ray, ultraviolet ray of appropriate frequency did not actually fall on this device. So definitely, what are the factors? The intensity of light. Now talking about the intensity of light. Now when we say the intensity, we are talking about the force at which the light, talking about the sunlight or the ultraviolet ray falls on the photosensitive device. Then finally, we now have the number of protons that are emitted in order to give the lighting effect. So on this point, I guess one way for us to understand what we mean by photoelectric emission is for us to take our time to go and study how light are being generated from solar power cell and system to provide electricity. So on this note, I guess we'll have to stop here, and I will encourage every one of us to go back to our textbook and study more on photoelectric emission, and secondly, thermal emission, for which most of us are aware of. So on this note, we'll have to stop here, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you.